Further, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that talks between Ukrainian and US officials on proposals to end the conflict with Russia would take place soon. In the video address, Zelensky said senior Ukrainian officials representing the military, foreign ministry and intelligence agencies would participate in the talks on how to end the conflict. Zelensky signed a decree to dismiss his powerful chief of staff, meanwhile, on Friday, hours after the close ally had his home searched by anti-corruption agents. Zelensky said Andriy Yermak had resigned and that he would consider his replacement on Saturday. Yermak was heading Ukraine's negotiation team for the US-backed peace talks.
The
office of the President of Ukraine will be rebooted. The head of the office, Andriy Yermak, has submitted a resignation letter. Meetings with the American side will take place in the near future.
In its response, Russia said it received the main parameters of the peace framework discussed by the US and Ukrainian negotiators in Geneva, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said on Saturday. Peskov also said Russian President Vladimir Putin is scheduled to meet with Steve Witkoff, US President Donald Trump's special envoy, in Moscow in the first half of next week. He added that Russia remains committed to negotiations on the Ukraine issue, but does not intend to publicly reveal the details of the talks. Earlier, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the US proposed list of points could form a basis for future agreements, while Ukraine had agreed in principle to the framework agreement, saying that certain clauses still require future discussion. Also, on Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that he will hold talks with the US side in the near future. And DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us on the story for more. Akshay, is President Zelensky likely to accept President Trump's peace proposal as it stands, or is he likely to reject some part of the proposal?
Well, absolutely. The second point would be more closer to accuracy here because obviously, from the past, we have seen that under Donald Trump's administration, whenever the talks have come about in the first format, as it has been given by the US, it has not been acceptable to Ukraine. Otherwise, the peace plan would have been signed by now, because on certain extent. To a certain extent, the US leadership under Donald Trump is more realistic to the realities of this conflict than the Biden administration was. While it had outrightly rejected any siding with Russia, Trump has been talking about Russia alongside Ukraine when it comes to the peace plan. So it has been less acceptable to the Ukrainian leadership than it was than the US points were under Joe Biden. So there will be certain points to be negotiated. Even the US and the Russian side would be knowing about it. So obviously they would have bloated the agreement per se, so that whatever cuts can be made from there doesn't hurt the negotiations much. So let's see how the meeting comes about to take place. But from the looks of it, the signs have not been good for Ukraine, because Donald Trump has earlier said in a statement that Ukraine will have to accept the peace formula, or it has to continue fighting, knowing that if US pulls out from supporting Ukraine, it won't be for long that a country like Russia, which is much more larger in terms of military, in terms of size, economy, can overwhelm the defenses of Ukraine even further, and it is going to damage Ukraine as well, much more than it has in the past. So it was sort of a threat, but let's see how it plays out. Okay. All eyes on this meeting that is scheduled to take place in the near future.
Okay. How is President Putin likely to respond to President Trump's latest peace proposal?
Well, like Zelensky, Putin will also be making some more concessions than the US would be willing to give at this point in time. Even though Donald Trump has spoken positively of Putin, we have seen that not only Trump administration has tried to hurt Russia, but also economically, but also hurt the allies of the Russian Federation. Countries that are doing trade with Russia have also been hurt with the kind of tariffs that the Trump administration has put. So there is no, friendships per se as far as Trump and Russia is concerned. It's only mutually beneficial partnership that Trump envisions for the near future when it comes to rare earth minerals, trade negotiations, trade agreements, as well as economic collaboration, especially given the view that it's not Russia but China that remains prime adversary of the US in this multipolar world right now.
Okay, yes, all eyes on this peace talks that will happen first with the Ukraine and then with Russia, US being at the center of it. Thank you very much, Akshay Dongre, for joining us for now.